I would say performing, being an actual artist is my first love. I got started kind of on a wing and a prayer. It was crazy in 1993 high school talent show. A couple of my girlfriends came to me and said, Joyce, can you sing background? We're going to do this In Vogue song. And I had never sang in church, never sang growing up, never even knew I had a voice. And we got ready to hit the stage, and everybody froze. And I sang the whole song by myself, and we won the contest. So that was the first time I realized I had the voice, and that like kind of sparked in me the love of music, and from there on, the rest is history. Well, the transition into each one of my talented areas and areas of focus has been a natural one. I originally started out doing a lot of local things. Sang with a few bands. Started with a group called Verde, and then from there went to a group called True Vision, and then through the years formulated my own group called the Soul Candy Band. The band thing has kind of transitioned to some other opportunities. I auditioned in this very theater about 10 years ago for a musical called Divas and got a part in that. And then I ended up doing 7 years with the Athenaeum Theater, did several years with Indianapolis Opera. So it just kind of has all kind of fell into my lap. It wasn't something I went to school for or study or decided to do. It just kind of happened. And it's been a natural transition into each one of these things, from doing a lot of the musicals here throughout the years. I was approached by the Madam Walker Theater to write The Birth of Soul, the musical, which is what we're presenting tonight for them back in 2009. And through a series of crazy events, I ended up doing my own company. I was recently laid off from my job, so this is now my full-time focus, is doing the productions, doing things with my band, working on an album project, and that sort of thing. Ah, if I had to describe myself and compare myself to another artist, the closest would probably be a merge or a melange of Jill Scott, Shaka Khan, and maybe a little bit of Etta James, because I like that old flavor. I like the old funk, but I also like the new neo soul vibe. So I kind of do kind of a combination of those three artists. I don't like to box myself. I know that sounds crazy, but I might sing anything from Janis Joplin to Aretha Franklin. I mean, I like a little bit everything. If I had to pick one, I would say soul. I would be a soul artist, neo soul, soul artist. Uh, I'm pretty versatile. I would say I'm not much of a country singer. I've done a little bit of Shania Twain, but she's more on the pop side, so that's not my thing. But other than that, I mean, I sing pretty much every style, from opera, R&B, jazz, soul, funk. I've done some rock and roll stuff. I just love music. Well, I've done some modeling for a few people. I've done some runway modeling. This was years ago, like back in '05, '06. Harvey Starr Washington has a lot of different fashion shows. I modeled for him. I was able to be a part of Indie Black Expo's modeling. I forget the event name, but it was about 2005, 2006, and I was one of Ashley Stewart's models for that. There's another company called Big on Boutique based out of Los Angeles, California. Good friend of mine, Satu Varenma, is a photographer for them. She recently took over and owns I guess you would call it the brand or the label, and I'm one of her models. I've done some calendar modeling for Plus modeling for Plush Cat Style. What that is, it's just a bunch of full-figured ladies who are proud and sassy, and we do our thing. We keep it classy, but sexy, but not trashy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we do a lot of different things. So I'm still one of the plush cats. I go out to LA every now and then and do some events, spokesmodel kind of things. Had a chance to be one of the models for Rocket Curves based out of Los Angeles, California. That was when I found out I was pregnant with my son uh, last year. So it's been kind of one of those roller coaster rides. Another thing that I just kind of happened into, I went out to LA for an audition, and I ran into Satu. Met her through a mutual friend who was a model, and she had me come out to a photo shoot, and they liked the images and ended up working with her through the years. So that's been kind of an ongoing thing since '06. This production has been a dream come true and a nightmare all in one, because you learn as you go. It is like one of those like OJT experiences, on the job training. In 2009, when the Madam Walker approached me to write the show, I had never written a musical. I'd been in a lot of them, but I'd never written one. And originally, I tried to pull in Bob Harbin, who's with Bob Directs and worked out of American Cabaret, to do the project. But there was kind of a conflict of interest, so he was unable to participate. And I said, well, what the heck? I'll try it. And it was a success. We got really good reviews. I was very surprised at the reviews we got, and from there on, it was just like, you know, why don't you do it again? Do it again. Do it again. So the opportunity presented itself. My dad decided to retire from the nonprofit that he was running, and he said, why don't you leverage that and use that to start doing your productions on a regular basis? And that's what I'm doing now. So what better start than to bring Bertha Soul back to the stage after all these years, and do it in 2013 with a lot of the same cast members. From this production, I have been inspired to write some others. I'm working on another show called Lost Legends that will pay tribute to all of the R&B and soul legends that have passed away through the years. I'm also working on my first novel called The Forgotten Timepiece, which is a time travel story. So there's a lot of writing projects that have kind of spiraled out of this. So I hope this is only the beginning. What is my favorite experience? I'll say the landmark experience for my career has been being Effie in Dreamgirls. Out of doing that show, I learned so much about myself as an artist, about my voice and my vocal ability, about acting and really having to act, because when I did the opera, I was more in the chorus, I was more in the background. A lot of the other shows were more cabaret style where I was just singing, didn't really have to act. It pulled me out of my comfort zone, and I was the star of the show, so I had to be the star of the show. And that was probably the most challenging part that I've ever had, the most rewarding part I've ever had, because here we are. That was in, oh my gosh, what year was that? It's been several years. I can't remember the year. But all these years later, people still approach me and go, it's Effie, you know, and they still remember that. And I even had somebody come to my show, Bertha Soul, over the weekend and say, you know what, I saw you in Dreamgirls, and I never forgot that. And that means a lot to me. And so that was a landmark moment in my career. I learned a lot working with Bob Harbin. He was a very well-known producer, director, casting director for a lot of really big shows with the Fox television network. So for him to see a talent in me and put me in that position to be Effie, that meant a lot, and that has really been kind of the driver for my career. If you want to make a career in this industry, know that the people you think are overnight successes have probably put years and years of time and effort and countless dollars behind their careers. Overnight successes are 1 in a million. If you really want this for your life, if you want to be an artist, you have to work at it. You can't give up. You can't let people deter you with their negativity. You have to keep and surround yourself with positive people, feed off that positive energy, and ride the wave of your success and get where you need to be as an artist. Find your own voice. Don't try to be like anybody else. I think that has been a challenge for myself. People always want to box you. You sound like this person. You look like that person. Or, you know, you're a full-figured person, so you can't do this. Don't let people tell you what you can't do, because you can do whatever you put your mind to. Color Purple, the musical, will be October this year, probably here at the American Cabaret Theater, formerly known as the American Cabaret Theater, but the Athenaeum Theater. That's going to be a huge production. It's also another fundraiser for my nonprofit, The Cupboard. You can find about my nonprofit at www.thecupboardpresents.org. You can find out about me personally at joycelicorish.com, and my last name is Licorish. The Cupboard is a nonprofit that plans to feed the community by leveraging the arts. What we want to do is launch a mobile food pantry, and this mobile food pantry will drive perishable items out to the neighborhoods where it's most needed and drop those food things off to those individuals. We'll have a monthly food drive. We're going to also raise money through our events. We're going to do a lot of musicals, at least 2 a year to start out, and then we're going to try to double that in the next 2 years and do 4 musicals a year, 1 per season. After that, we want to kind of reopen up the Cupboard Warehouse. And what we did with the Cupboard Warehouse before, my dad was in business for 15 years with the Cupboard. And what he did is he partnered with a lot of other outlets, such as Maytag Refrigeration Products, Holland House Furniture, and other vendors like that. And what they did is they donated scratch and dent furniture, major household items, and appliances to him. And if someone, let's say, was burned out of their home, they could come to him with a voucher from the Red Cross, and he would refurnish their home. He would make sure they had all the things that they needed. So we want to be able to launch that initiative again. It is a very expensive one because you have to have a warehouse, you have to have a place to store everything, you have to, rebuild those partnerships. But that is our ultimate goal. We're going to start out with the food pantry. Hi, I'm Joyce Licorish, and check me out on chat.